every day, fighting for my life every day.
So, my bad, technical difficulties. Um, so basically, what I want to talk about today is the art of deflection, and that for me is something that I see a lot. I'm not no mental health, or I'm not trying to diagnose anybody or anything like that. I'm just trying to show behaviors and deflection. See, I'm not gonna call it what like the government does to us. I'm not gonna call it what like these activists in this movement does to people as a mental health, but it's a pattern. It's something that has gone over in history, and I'm going to break that down because I think it's something that really, really, really needs to be discussed. It's something that really needs to be talked about, um, because we're always distracted and deflected from the objective, from the goal, and I feel like that's what this is because you have these, you know, I was inspired to get involved so that there would be no more crying mothers, so that we wouldn't have to sit here and see buildings getting burned because the government didn't want to do the right thing. That's what I got into this for. I didn't get into this to sit here and battle other people. No, that's not what I got into this for. And if people want to look at the fact that, people call themselves conservatives and they want to call us, oh, we're racist, we're this, we're that. You don't even know me. You don't even know the people I hang around with. I don't support Trump, first of all. Um, I believe that Republicans and Democrats are on the same two different sides of the same coin because that's what they are. It's like a quarter where you got a Democrat on one side, a Republican on the other side. So to me, there's no difference. So I don't the lesser of two evils to me is not the lesser of two evils, uh, because it's the same balance of evils. I guess it's just all what you look at. When it comes to the Democrats, to be black, they're literally trying to erase black people, period. But they want to call the Republicans racist. That's the crazy part for me. And it's like our black leaders allow this. That's what I don't understand. I sit here and I look at this and I wonder, like in the next 10 years, there's not gonna be such thing as a black person. That's what's crazy, and people don't understand that. Uh, and I'm not gonna stop educating. I'm definitely not gonna stop educating, because I feel like that is the passport to the future. And I feel like everybody needs to get a ticket and go back in time and travel and research, do your history. You know what I'm saying? Look certain things up. Look up why they quote Martin more than they quote Malcolm, or why we barely hear about Fred Hampton, but when we do hear about Fred, it has to do with the revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Or when they chant Malcolm, it's that by any means necessary. You guys have to really. That's the whole thing that bugs me, because you have these people. How can you say that you're like Malcolm, but really you bow down to a system? Malcolm never got paid by the government. No, and when we say, this is the thing that fucks me up, because like all the things that in the last 3 years, the actions, the events, direct actions, all of that, and I'm like, what the fuck did it really do? What did it really do? Because it's like the one, I don't know. I personally, this is my personal opinion, this is my perspective, but I feel like the people that wanted to change the system and wanted to do whatever by any means necessary, they got rid of those people. So I'm talking about the Kaya Harts. I'm talking about, the Chaz Neals, the Marcus X. Smiths, the Todd Grammons, the Rashad Turners, the the Tim Christophers, um, so many other activists. Because you know what's crazy is y'all never hear about, you always hear about the big names, but you never hear about the activists before the big name. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy to me. Of we talk about Louisville, or we talk about California, and we forget. I'll tell you right now, I never heard of Melina, who the fuck Melina Abdullah was, until just not even 2 weeks ago. And then as I'm digging more into it, this BLM grassroots, there ain't nothing grassroots about that. There ain't nothing grassroots about that. Um, so it's like the whole time they say one thing but do another, and to me that's a hypocrite. If that's not hypocritical, I don't know what is. I, for real, we can agree to disagree, whatever, but it's like, yeah, there ain't no. It's crazy to me of what we will believe in and what we'll fall for, because these are, to me, three of the biggest signs of that we see right now in the movement is interpersonally exploitive, takes advantage of others to achieve his or her own ends, lacks empathy, is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others, is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. And that's all I hear. That's all I hear. Like, for me, I got into this for the families. I don't care about my feelings. I don't care about my stature. That's why people don't ever that's the whole crazy thing, because I hear about all these achievements, right? All these achievements. But what's really being done? Because I could throw out my achievements too. And what is that really? Are they really achievements? Like I said this the other day, I have resolutions passed that I authored. I have strategic racial equity action plans. Them didn't do shits. I got a rental licensing program started here in Redwood. Does y'all think that shit really helps? It doesn't. That's the crazy part, man. Because they know the loopholes. The Democrats, the liberals, the progressives, they didn't want any change. They didn't want any change because literally, what's crazy is we have a whole resolution proclaiming racism a public health crisis. And what I mean by that racism a public health crisis, right, is I meant the system, not individuals. I meant a system. And still they're directing that shit at individuals instead of going at the system, because nothing ever changed. They had a advisory board, practices and patterns. That shit blew up in their faces. It didn't change shit. It didn't change shit because we're still living in bogus ass policies, practices, and patterns. And nothing ever changes. They said they would hire more colored people. I still haven't seen that. Still haven't seen that. So what's really going on? Y'all said y'all was gonna have more youth interaction in the government. I don't see y'all doing that. I seen Kermit the Frog just the other day. He wanna meme mug me. You ain't gonna do that shit if I pull up on Central Street. If I pull up to your house, you ain't gonna do that shit because you're gonna act like a little bitch. You're gonna be scared. You're gonna call the popo. All for what? That's what I don't understand with these elected officials. They get so scared. You email them or you call them, and they want to feel threatened. Man, I'm calling you to talk about something. That's the one thing that I might not like Latrice Savita, but I'll tell you, like, and I don't what I mean by what I don't like is her policies, her politics. Because I love the lady. I would ride or die for Vita. But when it comes down to politics, I think she's full of shit. When it comes to the liberals, and we've had plenty conversations about this. But I still, at the end of the day, I love and respect her, because even though I know that she's gonna spew me full of lies, full of bullshit, I still think she got a good heart. But see, here's the only difference is I know when she tells me shit that she don't mean it. And that ain't no disrespect to her. I know who her boss is. It ain't us the people. So and again, the same thing with Jeremiah Ellison, the same thing with his daddy. All of that. They might say they might be good people, but at the end of the day, their politics are shitty. Their policies are shitty. So I said what I said, and it's not, that ain't no disrespect. Because I'll tell you right now, when DJ accosted, uh, I can't even say confrontation, because how do you confront a woman? And I don't care if he is a they, them, but how do you confront a woman? And then you want some kind of, and this ain't the first time I ain't even, you know what? I ain't even gonna go there. This is the first time that he's did it with an actual woman. Because the first time was with a trans woman. And Andrea Jenkins is way taller than DJ. Shouldn't even been scared, first of all, because all you had to do was get out the car, stand over the bitch ass nigga, and he'd have got out the way. So, and if the protesters would have jumped on, they would have been bogus. That man kept you hostage. Just like how if Vitar would have did something to that man, she wouldn't have been bogus. She wouldn't have been bogus. Hmm. But y'all sit there, the great deflect and distract. Because that whole thing, that's what I didn't understand about that. I will never understand this movement anymore. These agitators, these chaos agents, these provocateurs. I will never understand it. It's like everything they do is to fuck up shit, not make it better. It's to fuck it up, not make it better. Because I think about Uptown, Winston Smith. You know, I think about Dalal Aid. I think about Andrew Tekelberg. When have they had actions for them? I think about Noah Kelly. I think about Ricky Torres. I think about Christopher from Austin, Minnesota. There's so many different people that we've lost to police brutality, and yet we don't bring them up. We don't talk about them. And when I say we, I'm definitely not talking about the Leon block, because I always make sure that Ricky Torres, um, Olivia, Minnesota, Noah Kelly, Maplewood, uh, Kevin Yang that just happened in Minneapolis, Andrew Tekelberg, Minneapolis, and this is just Minnesota. And what's the goal? Because I see more people trying to stir up drama and beef instead of trying to educate people how we get justice. How do we get out of this bullshit? Because that's what I want to know. I don't want to know, oh man, them activists over there beefing, they doing this, they doing that, they making the shit look sloppy. Well, then why don't y'all get involved and say something instead of not doing anything? Because what does silence equal? What does silence equal? Equals violence. Equals violence. You know, because I know I'm gonna get beat up online today, but by being called a snitch and all of that. Yep, I'm a big snitch. Top flight snitch of the world, Craig. Call me whatever you want to call me. Call me the biggest snitch. But see, wrong is wrong. And if people can out there sit out here and say that fraud, doing fraud is okay, then you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. So I hope people actually call that hotline, that fraud hotline, leave the email address if they need any more information. Because I'll tell you what I did, and I won't do it. I won't give it out, but I gave him where he actually sleeps in Louisville, him and Bianca house, and I gave them Bianca's phone number. That's how dirty I am. Because I'm tired. I'm tired. So the people around him want to protect him. I'm going to include y'all in it now too. Not everybody, but the ones that I know I can put pressure on and they're going to burst. So when the feds come knocking, the feds, the DOJ, whatever it is, because I'm coming. There's enough out there that I think if enough people call about these organizations, about the fraudulent money, it'll happen. Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Is that's what it is, and it's not even to do about bogus, but we want bad police off the streets. So why don't we want bad community members off the streets? Why wouldn't we want bad community members off the streets? Eye for an eye, right? Because we get mad and the police just killed somebody last night. Where's that energy at? Where's that energy? Because all I got last night was messages about a live video that I couldn't even see, that I could really care less about. The only thing that people really care about was coming to tell me. It had nothing to do with, oh man, somebody need to stop this nigga. Nope. It was like, oh, it's the drama. And then I got the same people on my fucking page on his page, which it's all fine and dandy. I don't really care because I'm not going to make y'all choose. I want y'all to soak up this information so y'all could really wake up and see this shit for what it really is. And you ain't even got to follow me. You ain't even got to believe in what I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, everything that I'm educating you with ain't my words. This is shit, all shit that I go online and look for. And especially when it comes to this narcissism shit, this is shit that was written back in the 80s from about the 70s and how people were back then. So then you only got to put it to further extent into today's times. Because 59 years ago, a man, even though it really didn't do nothing because he was an idiot, but poured acid in a swimming pool because there was black people in it. Kind of funny, huh? Kind of funny, because I'll tell you right now, if enough people spoke up, you think these fraud organizations, nonprofits, would be able to move and operate the way that they do? No, they're able to move and operate the way that they do is because there's too much silence. Not enough people are calling it out. And I'm not going to even call it exposed or anything, because it's not exposing. It's not a whistleblower. It's somebody that's why I hate these other words attached to when people do the right thing, snitching or whistleblower. No, how about just doing the right thing? How about they're the whistleblower? How about they're the snitch? Because they're the ones fucking it up for everybody else. That's what I don't understand is, why is it when people do the right thing, right, it's always a bad thing? Look at the cop in Memphis that's calling out the Memphis Police Department about Tyre Nichols, but isn't saying anything about Jalen McKenzie. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And the end of December until Tyre, you literally had 5 police killings in Memphis, Tennessee. 5 within a month and a half. And I only hear one name, Tyre Nichols. And then I just found out about Jalen McKenzie. So what are we really doing this for? Like, I don't understand that. We're blocking people on Facebook. Isn't that blocking families' blessings that to get that story out? Because if we can't see the story, how are we supposed to help? How are we supposed to help? Because everybody was out here doing the right thing. There wouldn't have to be no, if everybody was transparent and clarified and put clarity onto what they were doing, there wouldn't have to be no screenshots. There wouldn't have to be no backdoor meetings, because at the end of the day, we would just be able to come out in public and talk about it. Because ain't that what we want? Is transparency, honesty? But see, they give us that to a degree, but see, what's missing is clarity and clarification. And if there is none of that, how are you supposed to understand it? Make it make sense. How are you supposed to understand it, the transparency and honesty, if there is no clarity or clarification with it? Because that's what it is when it comes to the no-knock warrants. The no-knock warrants, right? How many people, when they were out there toting it for elections, right, and y'all went to go vote on that, and then it actually, they passed it into law this year, how many people actually went and looked at that and seen that they lied to you, that it wasn't a prohibit? It was with exceptions. It was a ban with exceptions, not a prohibit. It didn't get rid of it. It was with exceptions. And it still wouldn't have saved a Mirror Lock life. Still wouldn't have saved a Mirror Lock life. And I don't know how many people have to tell you, but all for the simple fact that they're seen as conservatives. The Minnesota Gun Caucus has yelled this out, people that fight for the Second Amendment, and they literally said this would have not have saved Amir Locke. And y'all still, because BLM and the DFL have told you that these people lie, y'all don't even go look at it and read it. Because here's my thing, if it's such a lie, right? If it's such a lie, right? Why ain't they suing? Why ain't they suing? Just like Candace Owens. And I'm just going to say, I'm only bringing up Candace and Liz Collins right now from Alpha News for a certain reason, right? Because they're profiting. They're profiting off of the greatest lie ever sold. They're profiting off the greatest lie ever sold, right? Do you think there's any truth to what they're saying? It makes you wonder, because where are the two roommates? Where are George Floyd's two roommates? Did nobody want to listen to them when nobody came and got George's car that was still out there? Nobody wanted to come get his personal belongings. But they say that they lied. They lied. But we're supposed to listen to people that didn't even know George Floyd or went out here and lied about being George Floyd's family. And we're supposed to listen to them? Stop it. Y'all are crazy, crazy. Crazy, crazy. And I'm not telling you to believe the police. I'm not telling you to believe the police because they lied too. But why don't you believe the people that was around him? You know, that's the one crazy thing in a lot of these stories. And believe me, everybody deserves justice. Nobody deserves to die at the hands of the police. Nobody. Nobody deserves to die by the hands of another community member. But I will say this. That shit's profitable, especially when it comes to the police. See, that's just profitable. So they can tell lies and tell narratives. Because here's the whole thing of it is, there's so many, you know, when it came to the George Floyd, there's a couple things that I want to talk about that were brought up in the news, but because they were ran by Republican geared media, they weren't looked at. But see, the shit was the truth. It was the truth. Like how Chauvin and Floyd worked at the same bar together. They did security. And you know who owned that bar? It was the owner of Cup Foods, Sabari. The same person that owned, yeah, man. This is how niggas are ignorant, bro. And this is all public information because so if you go back to the deed of the building where the nightclub was, it was sold a couple of months before Floyd got killed, right? Was murdered. But if you looked at the previous owner, it was Sabari, the same owner as Cup Foods. So they couldn't tell me that they didn't know each other, that there was not a fucking connection. But that never came out. It was because at the end of the day, it was small, independent, Republican. That's why this is why I talk shit about Unicorn Riot in Georgia Fort, because they could have ran with these stories. And since they want to talk about changing the narrative, they never did that. They could have literally went and talked to the roommates instead of going and talk to people that, oh, that's my uncle. That's my uncle. Like, y'all ain't even coming out here getting facts. And then the nigga gets a cease and desist, and y'all still don't want to tell the roommate story. You don't want to tell their struggle, the shit that they went through. But y'all at CNN want to put niggas on the news lying. Or like Minneapolis just had a Terry Willis Day yesterday. We got a George Floyd Day and a Terry Willis Day. Why two people got to have a day for the same thing? So we giving niggas days for doing cocaine up in 7 nightclub. That's what I don't understand. All these niggas got dirty ass history along their way. And I'm not talking about nobody that was murdered by the police because they did not deserve it. So I'm definitely not going to demonize them. I'm not talking about George Floyd because fentanyl didn't kill George. The knee of a cop did. And 3 cowards that sat around and allowed it. Yeah, in an EMS, the lady, you know what's crazy? One of their star witnesses should have been on fucking trial because she should have got involved. It was her duty as an EMS, as a nurse, to save the sanctity of life. That's what her oath is. to save the sanctity of life. Did she do that? Nope. Same thing with a firefighter. Nope. And there's a fucking fire department just right around the corner from that shit. We're just right down the street. Nope. Just like, and I'm only gonna keep this. I got about another 3 minutes, and I'm gonna fuck off here. But it's even like when you literally look at. Damn, I forgot where I was going with this. Damn, it was a good one too. It was a good one where I was going with it, and now I forgot. See, you blew me. You threw me off, Silk. Damn it. But so I'm just gonna switch. I forgot it anyways. But later on today, we will be having an episode of Setting the Record Straight. Arm yourself with knowledge. We will be bringing the family of Eric Holmes to come on and talk about Eric's story. Talk about the journey that she's had as an impacted mother. And the bullshit. Not even. I don't even want to say bullshit. But what hurdles did she have to jump through? What hurdles that she had not even bust down? Because there ain't no jumping through these shits. You literally got to bust them down so they can't build them back up right away. Because if you knock it down, they can just build them back up. They can just pick it back up. But if you bust it down, they got to build it. So that's what this is about. We're gonna help Miss Val, and I can't say her whole name right, so I just say Val, and I'm gonna talk to her about that early today too, because I don't like saying people's names wrong, because that, one thing of that we live by is our name, our word, and our balls, right? And I know people are like, balls, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is you live by your word. You stand on your word. You don't break. You don't bend. You don't fold on the truth. You stand tall. You stand tall, because I'll tell you right now, them lies, those are the type of people that break, bend, or fold. Break, bend, or fold. And that's what you see, because what does pressure do? It bursts pipes. It bursts pipes. It bursts pipes. That's what pressure does. So that's what arm yourself with knowledge. That's pressure that we're going to use to burst these pipes. Because we do what? We talk heavy. We talk heavy. We talk heavy. So y'all already know what it is. Win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish us well.
Every day, fighting for my life. Every day, fighting for my life. Fighting for my life. Fighting for my bread. Grew from the seed you thought was rot. I think not. Fire bred desire to rise above denial. To rise from former ashes to face new trial. Trial or triumph. I am enough. Trial to triumph. I am enough. Every day I fight for my life.